It's easy to get caught up in everything happening around you, the opinions of others, the negativity on social media, the small things that don't really matter. But you weren't created to live a distracted life. You weren't designed to chase after every opinion, fight every battle, or waste time on things that drain your energy. You have a destiny to fulfill, a purpose to achieve, and now is the time to declare no more distractions. See, when you're on the right path, distractions will come. The enemy doesn't bother people who aren't going anywhere. It's when you're stepping into something great, when you're making progress, that suddenly there's more drama, more delays, more things trying to steal your focus. But here's the key. You don't have to respond to every distraction. You don't have to fight battles that aren't yours. You don't have to prove yourself to people who will never understand your calling. Maybe you've allowed worry to take up too much space. You've been distracted by what didn't work out, by the people who walked away, by the things that didn't go as planned. But today, make a decision. You're not wasting another minute on things that don't matter. Your focus is too valuable. Your purpose is too important. God has something greater ahead, but you won't reach it if you're constantly looking to the left and right. It's time to silence the noise. Time to set boundaries. Time to walk in the confidence that you don't need to chase after everything. What God has for you will find you when you stay focused. Let go of the distractions, keep pressing forward, and watch how God moves in your life like never before. Life is full of things that can pull us in different directions. Every day there are opportunities to get sidetracked by worries, opinions, and situations that have nothing to do with where we are supposed to be going. But if you want to reach the fullness of what has been planned for you, you must stay committed to the path ahead. You cannot afford to allow every little thing to capture your attention, shift your energy, or pull you away from your true purpose. Think about a runner in a race. If they start looking to the side, checking where others are, or getting distracted by the noise of the crowd, they lose momentum. They slow down, they veer off course. The fastest runners, the ones who finish strong, keep their eyes straight ahead. They are locked in. They don't waste energy responding to everything happening around them because they know every ounce of focus matters. It's the same in life. If you want to achieve what you were created for, you have to be intentional about where your focus goes. There will always be things vying for your attention, unexpected challenges, unnecessary drama, situations that stir up frustration. But you can't allow yourself to get caught up in things that don't serve your greater goal. You have to recognize that not everything deserves your energy. Some people miss out on their destiny because they get too easily distracted. Instead of moving forward, they waste time engaging in battles that don't belong to them. They let offenses, setbacks, and small inconveniences consume their thoughts. They get so wrapped up in temporary frustrations that they forget what they are working toward. But you don't have to live that way. You can make a decision to be different. You can choose to stay committed to what matters most. You can decide that you're not going to let little things steal your focus. You're not going to allow people's opinions to dictate your direction. You're not going to let fear, doubt, or discouragement pull you away from the work you need to do. Instead, you're going to be laser focused on your assignment. When you truly commit to this mindset, everything changes. You stop getting caught up in meaningless arguments. You stop feeling the need to respond to negativity. You stop giving your time to things that don't align with your vision. You start moving with purpose, making decisions that bring you closer to where you are supposed to be. There's a story of a man who was called to do something great, but he faced constant distractions along the way. Every time he tried to move forward, someone would come along and try to pull him into an argument. There were people who doubted him, people who criticized him, people who tried to convince him that he wasn't capable. But instead of stopping to respond to every distraction, he kept building, he stayed focused. And because he didn't allow himself to get pulled off course, he accomplished something that changed history. The same principle applies to you. There will always be distractions. There will always be things that try to get you off track. But when you recognize that your purpose is bigger than the distractions around you, you gain the strength to keep moving forward. You realize that you don't have to respond to every voice. You don't have to get caught up in things that don't align with your vision. You can stay focused and trust that what you are working toward is far greater than anything trying to pull you away. Think about what would happen if you made a decision today to stop letting distractions run your life. Imagine how much progress you could make if you weren't constantly pulled in different directions. Imagine the clarity, the peace, the sense of fulfillment that would come from knowing you are fully committed to the path ahead. The truth is, you have everything you need to stay focused. You have the strength to resist distractions. You have the discipline to keep your eyes on your goals. You have the wisdom to know what deserves your attention and what doesn't. But it starts with a decision to value your purpose more than temporary distractions, a decision to be intentional about where you place your focus. Don't let another day pass being consumed by things that don't matter. Don't waste another moment giving your energy to things that don't serve your future. Stay committed to what's ahead and watch how everything starts to shift in your favor. There are many voices in life that try to influence the direction you take. Some voices encourage, uplift, and push you toward your destiny, while others bring doubt, fear, and confusion. The challenge is knowing which ones to listen to and which ones to tune out. When you allow the wrong voices to have too much influence, they can slowly steer you away from the path you were meant to walk. Without realizing it, you can start doubting what you once felt so confident about. You can begin questioning whether you're capable, whether you have what it takes, whether the dream inside of you is even possible. This is why it's so important to be selective about what you allow into your mind and heart. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every opinion needs to be considered. Some people speak from a place of negativity because they have never seen anything beyond their own limitation. They try to convince you that you can't do something simply because they couldn't do it themselves. They speak words of doubt, not because they truly know what's best for you, but because they don't have the vision to see what you see. If you listen to these voices long enough, they will begin to shape the way you think. You'll start hesitating where you were once confident. You'll start shrinking back when you should be stepping forward. You'll begin to believe the lies that tell you you're not good enough, smart enough, or talented enough to reach the place you were meant to go. But none of those things are true. You wouldn't have the dream if you didn't have the ability to achieve it. You wouldn't feel the calling if you weren't already equipped for the journey. It's time to take control of what you allow into your mind. It's time to stop letting the wrong voices determine how far you go. Just because someone says something doesn't mean it's true. Just because someone doubts you doesn't mean they're right. You have to develop the ability to recognize when a voice is trying to take you off course. You have to become strong enough to dismiss negativity without letting it take root in your thoughts. There will always be people who don't understand your vision. There will always be those who try to talk you out of what you know deep down is meant for you. But their opinion doesn't determine your destiny. Their words don't set the course for your future. What matters is what you choose to believe. Imagine what would happen if you stopped giving power to the wrong voices. Imagine how much further you could go if you refused to let negativity have a place in your thinking. The truth is, there are already enough obstacles on the journey. There are already enough challenges to overcome. The last thing you need is to make it harder on yourself by carrying unnecessary doubt and fear. One of the most powerful things you can do is learn how to filter what you hear. Not every thought that comes into your mind is worth entertaining. Not every comment made about you is worth dwelling on. The most successful people are those who have mastered the art of dismissing distractions. They know how to stay focused on their goal without letting outside noise interfere. They don't waste time trying to convince people to believe in them. They don't feel the need to respond to every negative remark. Instead, they keep moving forward, confident in what they know to be true. This is the mindset you need to develop. Instead of giving attention to voices that tear you down, start listening to those that build you up. Surround yourself with people who see your potential and encourage you to keep going. Feed your mind with thoughts that strengthen your belief in yourself. The more you fill your heart with truth, the less room there will be for doubt and fear. You have a purpose to fulfill. You have a calling that is too important to let the wrong voices take you off track. It's time to take control of your focus. It's time to be intentional about what you allow to shape your thinking. When you do, you'll find that the path ahead becomes clearer. You'll have the confidence to move forward, unhindered by distraction. And you'll reach places you never thought possible simply because you refuse to let the wrong voices steer you away. There are only so many hours in a day, so much energy you can give, and only a limited amount of mental space available. If you spend too much time on things that don't matter, you will find yourself drained, frustrated, and unable to move forward in the way you were meant to. What you give your time to is shaping the direction of your life, whether you realize it or not. There are countless demands pulling at you daily, tasks that need to be done, people who want your attention, distractions that seem small but add up over time. If you are not careful, you can find yourself giving away all your energy to things that don't align with what truly matters. You can be busy but not productive. You can be occupied but not moving forward. It is not just about how much you are doing. It is about whether what you are doing is actually getting you closer to your purpose. Too often, people spend their time caught up in things that are not worth it. They waste hours stressing over what others think, getting involved in unnecessary drama, or focusing on problems that won't matter in the long run. They put energy into relationships that drain them, arguments that lead nowhere, and distractions that keep them stuck in the same place. They don't realize that every moment spent on something that doesn't matter is a moment taken away from something that does. It's easy to get caught up in things that seem urgent but are not actually important. The small frustrations of daily life, the things that irritate you, but don't really impact your future. If you are not intentional, these things will steal your time before you even notice. Before long, you look back and wonder where the time went. You had big goals, big dreams, and high hopes, but somehow life got in the way. But was it really life that got in the way, or was it the way you managed what was given to you? If you want to step into everything that was meant for you, you must become disciplined in how you handle your time and energy. You must learn to recognize what is worth your attention and what is simply a distraction. Every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. Every time you give your energy to something that doesn't matter, you are taking it away from something that some people will try to pull you into their problems, their drama, their distractions. Not everyone who comes into your life is meant to stay. Not everyone who asks for your time deserves it. There are some people who only show up when they need something, who constantly bring negativity into your life, who leave you feeling drained instead of uplifted. If you continue to give them access to your time and energy, they will keep taking without ever adding value in return. That's why you have to set boundaries. You have to be willing to say no to things that do not align with where you are going. You have to be strong enough to walk away from situations that do not serve your purpose. You don't have to feel guilty for protecting your energy. You don't have to apologize for choosing to focus on what matters. When you start being intentional about how you use your time, everything changes. You begin to move forward with greater clarity. You feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. You accomplish more in less time because your energy is no longer scattered across things that don't serve you. It is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters. It is about being focused, strategic, and purposeful in how you spend your time. It is about recognizing that you are in control of your schedule, your attention, and your mental space. When you take ownership of these things, you will begin to see real progress in ways you never thought possible. You have too much ahead of you to waste time on distractions. You have too much potential to let the wrong things drain your energy. Be intentional, be focused, guard what you give your attention to, and watch how much more fulfilled, productive, and successful your life becomes. There is something powerful about having a clear direction. When you know where you are going and what you are working toward, distractions begin to lose their grip. The problem is, too many people start with a strong vision, but allow the difficulties of life to shift their focus. They get caught up in things that don't matter, sidetracked by challenges, or overwhelmed by outside opinions. Instead of moving forward with determination, they begin to slow down, hesitate, and in some cases, completely lose sight of the goal. Think about an archer aiming at a target. If their eyes wander, if they allow outside noise to make them flinch, or if they second guess their ability, they will miss the mark. But when they remain steady, when they block out the distractions, when they trust their skill and focus on the bullseye, they give themselves the best chance of success. The same principle applies in life. If you are constantly looking around at what others are doing, worrying about things outside of your control, or letting every little setback shake your confidence, you will struggle to stay on course. One of the biggest reasons people lose focus is because they allow themselves to be pulled in too many directions. They start listening to every new opinion, chasing after every new idea, or responding to every little inconvenience. But you cannot afford to let temporary distractions steal your long-term success. Every time you shift your focus away from what truly matters, you lose valuable momentum. And if you lose momentum for too long, it becomes harder and harder to regain. Distractions don't always show up as obvious roadblocks. Sometimes they disguise themselves as good opportunities. You might be tempted to take on something that seems exciting even though it doesn't align with your overall purpose. You might feel pressured to pursue a path just because others say it's the right thing to do, even though it doesn't feel right for you. This is why clarity is so important. When you have a strong understanding of where you are headed, it becomes easier to recognize when something is pulling you away from the right direction. It's also important to recognize that focus is not something that happens automatically. It is something you have to fight for. There will always be distractions. There will always be things competing for your attention. But you have the ability to take control of your focus and make intentional choices about where you direct your energy. Sometimes this means stepping away from environments that make it difficult to stay focused. If you surround yourself with people who constantly bring negativity, gossip, or drama into your life, it will be much harder to maintain your focus. If you allow yourself to be consumed by social media, unnecessary arguments, or endless distractions, you will struggle to stay on track. You have to be willing to make changes, to set boundaries, and to be disciplined enough to guard your focus. There is a reason why successful people emphasize the power of concentration. They understand that distractions are everywhere, but they also know that achieving something great requires the ability to stay locked in on a vision. They don't let every inconvenience shake them. They don't waste time trying to prove themselves to people who don't matter. They don't allow their focus to be scattered across 100 different things that don't contribute to their success. Instead, they set their sights on the goal and move with confidence. Imagine what could happen if you fully committed to keeping your focus on what truly matters. Imagine how much progress you could make if you stopped allowing outside distractions to slow you down. The truth is, you are capable of more than you realize, but you will never reach your highest potential if you are constantly pulled off course. You have to make the decision to stay locked in on your goal, to push through the distractions, and to keep your attention exactly where it needs to be. The people who achieve great things in life are not necessarily the most talented, the most connected, or the luckiest. They are the ones who make a decision to stay focused no matter what comes their way. They are the ones who keep showing up even when it gets hard. They are the ones who refuse to be distracted by things that don't serve their purpose. And because they are willing to do what most people won't, they get to experience what most people never will. You have a choice to make. You can continue to allow distractions to take up your time and energy, or you can make a decision to block them out and keep your eyes on the goal. The distractions will not stop coming, but when you train yourself to ignore them, they will no longer have power over you. Keep your focus strong, and nothing will be able to hold you back from reaching your full potential. There is always something trying to pull you away from what you should be doing. It could be unexpected challenges, unnecessary drama, or even your own doubts and fears. No matter how much determination you have, distractions will always try to creep in and take you off course. The real question is, will you allow them? Will you let things that don't matter keep you from fulfilling what you were meant to do? The key is learning to recognize when something is not worth your time. Not everything that demands your attention deserves it. Not every situation requires your response. Not every battle is yours to fight. If you spend your energy chasing after everything that comes your way, you will end up exhausted and empty. You only have so much emotional, mental, and physical strength each day. You must protect it by being intentional about where you invest your attention. One of the biggest traps people fall into is letting small things consume too much of their focus. Someone says something negative and they spend hours replaying it in their mind. A minor inconvenience happens and suddenly it ruins their entire day. They see someone else succeeding, and instead of staying focused on their own journey, they start comparing and feeling inadequate. These distractions might seem small in the moment, but over time they add up and can completely derail progress. If you are not careful, you can start to live in a reactive state, constantly responding to whatever happens instead of moving forward with purpose. When you live this way, you give control of your life to outside circumstances. Instead of deciding where you are going, you let distractions decide for you. But you don't have to live that way. You have the power to take control of your focus, to decide what is worthy of your energy, and to refuse to let meaningless things steal your attention. Think about how much time is wasted on things that won't even matter in the long run. People spend hours scrolling through social media, engaging in pointless arguments, or stressing over things that are completely out of their control. Meanwhile, the things that truly matter, their dreams, their goals, their growth, get put on the back burner. They tell themselves they'll get to it later, but later turns into weeks, months, and even years. And then one day they look back and realize how much time was lost on things that never actually contributed to their success. The truth is, if something is not helping you move forward, it is holding you back. If something is not building you up, it is tearing you down. Every decision you make about where you place your attention is either bringing you closer to your potential or pulling you further away from it. That is why you have to be relentless about guarding your focus. You might have people in your life who constantly bring negativity, who always have something discouraging to say, or who try to pull you into their problems. If you are not careful, their words and actions can take root in your mind and distract you from what really matters. That's why you have to be intentional about who you allow to influence your thoughts. You have to be selective about what you give space to in your heart and mind. It's not just people. It's also habits, environments, and even your own thoughts. Sometimes the biggest distractions are the ones happening inside of you. The fear of failure, the doubt that whispers you're not good enough, the worry about what others think. These are all distractions that can keep you from stepping fully into your purpose. The more you entertain them, the stronger they become. But when you decide to stop giving them power, they lose their grip on you. You have to train yourself to recognize when something is pulling you away from what matters. When you feel yourself getting caught up in negativity, step back and ask, is this helping me move forward? Is this worth my time and energy? Is this aligned with where I want to go? If the answer is no, let it go. Don't waste another moment on it. Your time is too valuable, your purpose is too important, and your future is too bright to be slowed down by distractions. When you make the choice to be intentional with your focus, everything changes. You start making progress faster, you feel more at peace, you have more clarity and direction. You wake up each day with a renewed sense of purpose because you know that you are investing your energy in the things that truly matter. You don't have to be controlled by distractions. You don't have to let outside influences determine the course of your life. You have the power to take control, to stay focused and to give your attention only to what will help you grow, succeed, and step into the fullness of what you were meant to do. Keep your eyes on the goal, refuse to be sidetracked, and watch how much further you go. Every day, you have a choice about where you place your attention. You have the power to decide what you will focus on and what you will ignore. The problem is, too many people don't make this decision intentionally. Instead, they allow themselves to be pulled in 100 different directions. They get distracted by things that don't contribute to their success, sidetracked by temporary frustrations, or caught up in other people's expectations. Without realizing it, they lose precious time, energy, and momentum. It's easy to let distractions take over because they often disguise themselves as important. You might tell yourself that checking your phone every few minutes is harmless, that spending time worrying about what others think is necessary, or that engaging in endless debates will change something. But in reality, these things take away from what truly matters. They consume mental space, drain your energy, and slow down your progress. Imagine you're on a road trip to a destination you've been dreaming about. You've planned for this journey. You've packed everything you need, and you're excited to get there. But along the way, you keep stopping at every little roadside attraction. You pull over for things that aren't important, take unnecessary detours, and before you know it, hours have passed, and you're nowhere near where you wanted to be. That's what happens when you let distractions control your time. You might still be moving, but you're not making real progress. The most successful people understand that they cannot afford to be distracted. They know that every minute wasted on something meaningless is a minute they could have spent getting closer to their goal. They don't let temporary frustrations steal their focus. They don't allow small inconveniences to throw them off course. They stay locked in on what matters. And because of that, they reach heights that others never do. It's not always easy to block out distractions, especially when they come from sources that feel familiar or comfortable. Some distractions come in the form of entertainment, mindlessly scrolling, binge watching, or engaging in activities that add no real value to your life. Others come in the form of unnecessary drama, getting involved in conflicts that don't concern you, holding on to grudges, or spending time with people who drain your energy. And then there are the distractions that come from within, doubts, insecurities, and fears. These are the distractions that whisper, you're not good enough. What if you fail? Or what will people think? If you entertain these thoughts for too long, they will hold you back more than anything else. They will keep you stuck, hesitant, and afraid to take the steps you need to move forward. That's why it is so important to be intentional about where you place your attention. You have to make a conscious decision to focus on what matters and let go of everything that doesn't. You have to train your mind to recognize when something is pulling you off course and quickly correct your focus. One of the most powerful things you can do is set clear priorities. When you know exactly what is important to you, it becomes easier to say no to things that don't align with your vision. You stop wasting time on meaningless distractions because you have a clear sense of purpose. You don't entertain negativity because you know it won't help you grow. You don't engage in every argument because you understand that some things are simply not worth your energy. It's also important to protect your environment. If you surround yourself with people who constantly bring distractions into your life, it will be harder to stay focused. If you allow too much noise, too many interruptions, and too many outside influences, your ability to concentrate will suffer. You have to be deliberate about creating a space where you can think clearly, work effectively, and stay committed to your goals. When you make the decision to block out distractions, you will notice a shift in your life. You will feel lighter because you are no longer carrying unnecessary burden. You will feel more in control because you are no longer reacting to everything around you. You will start accomplishing more in less time because your focus is no longer scattered. This is not about being perfect. There will always be things competing for your attention. There will be moments when distractions try to creep in, and sometimes they might succeed. But the key is to recognize them quickly and get back on track. Don't let one moment of distraction turn into a habit. Don't allow a small setback to become a permanent detour. You have too much ahead of you to waste time on things that don't matter. Your goals are too important. Your future is too valuable. The dreams inside of you deserve your full attention. Make the choice today to be intentional with your focus. Block out the noise, ignore the distractions, keep moving forward, and don't stop until you reach everything you were meant to achieve. You have the power to take control of your focus. You have the ability to shut out distractions, to protect your energy, and to move forward with confidence. Too many people allow the noise of life to keep them from reaching their full potential. They spend their days reacting to every little thing, getting caught up in what doesn't matter, and wasting time on things that add no real value. But that is not your story. You are stepping into a new level of awareness. You are choosing to guard your mind, to stay focused on your purpose, and to let go of anything that tries to pull you away from where you need to be. The distractions may not disappear, but they will no longer have power over you. The setbacks may still come, but they will not shake your determination. The voices of doubt may whisper, but they will not stop you from moving forward. Your future is too important to waste time on meaningless things. Your vision is too big to allow distractions to steal your momentum. From this moment forward, you are walking with clarity. You are making intentional choices. You are staying locked in on what truly matters. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and keep pressing forward. The more you eliminate distractions, the faster you will rise. The more you protect your attention, the greater your success will be. The best is ahead of you, and nothing will be able to hold you back.